All right, guys, we are live, and this is Carrie Steller, and welcome to the MMA UK Late Show, number 8, with Peter Knox, myself, and Kayla Beatty. We will be joined later by UMMAF Northeast Director Tom Kilkenny. Guys, how are you doing?
Awesome. How are you guys?
Fantastic. Thank you. Peter, what's up?
I'm okay. As you can see, I've made quite an impression. I had a shave before I came on. Yeah, not up here, down there, but I had a shave. But yeah.
Love it. Love it. At least none of us have any worry of pulling something out like what was in the chat room for a couple days.
Oh my gosh. That was so funny. Yeah, that guy was a character for sure.
It was good. It was good. Thankfully, he didn't do that. That would have been awful. Yeah, or funny, depending upon how you look at it. Most people probably would have laughed.
I mean, I'm impressed that he felt that confident to whip it out live on Facebook. But
facts. That is a confident man right there.
Well, I know it's a late night show, but I'm out here in the sun. Nice sunny.
I know. Look at you. You're very I'm jealous.
We actually in Scotland we don't get sun. We don't know what that big bright light in the sky is. But actually, the last couple of weeks we've had it really good. Just about 6 weeks ago, we had about 6 foot of snow, and now we've got sunshine. Everybody's going about. It's brilliant.
That's a beautiful thing. I couldn't imagine it being cold all the time.
I know. Huh?
It usually is in Scotland. We usually get a week of snow to sun, and that's it.
That's crazy. Wow. That's crazy. That's not enough sun for me. And even here in New York, I'm like, I need to get somewhere where it's just sunnier all the time. It's awful when it's cold here.
Yeah.
So, Kayla, where you're at, you get a lot of sun, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I moved down to San Diego, where like the weather stays consistently around in the 70s, and the sun's out. Like there was a little bit of rain last week, but today's a really nice day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Here's some sunshine with you guys.
If I was to sit out in my garden, I'd probably get mugged and they'd steal the laptop and the iPhone, and that's that's what it's like up here.
We'd have some.
If I walked outside right now, it's beautiful out, luckily, and I live in the middle of the woods practically. It's crazy over here, so it's like.
I was going to say, if we're in New York sitting outside, you'd probably get murdered, no?
No. Do you know how many times I've actually had people ask me from out of state, like, so have you ever seen anybody get shot? I'm like, New York is not that bad.
Hey, see, Glasgow, we're the same every week because I'm like a postman, so I'm out and about. I see people getting stabbed with axes, samurai swords.
Oh my God.
I can't deliver mail at one address because somebody's just been shot in the head, and so I'm guessing New York's is similar. London, I know London, Glasgow's the two bad ones over here. So I'm guessing New York is similar.
You know what? I don't think it's that bad here because we're a rare breed of people, and I kind of think that if like people saw that, they might be inclined to help. You know what I mean? I don't know if New Yorkers would. It's like I know I would, and I couldn't just sit back and let something happen. I'd utilize if I had a car like that article I put on Facebook. I would use that.
So Dennis Leary lied to me when he said New York was the murder capital of the world. Then
no, it's not. Well, it might be, but I think Chicago might have us beat.
Chicago's pretty hard, yeah, for sure.
And they have the strictest gun laws in the United States. It's pretty crazy and weird.
It feels fucking weird. I feel like a pimp right now. It's weird as fuck. Usually I'm surrounded by blokes.
You're the best. Come on, Peter. Like, where's your entrance song? We talked about this.
No, not me. I'm waiting for. I forgot his name already.
Tom. No, I was saying that to you.
Yeah, I'm going to do the Undertaker theme tune when he joins. We need to tell him when he joins. He needs to sing his own entrance song. And say we all.
He's got to do something.
Yeah, we need to wind him up and say, like, when you join, you need to sing your own song, hum it or something. Just to wind him up.
You're his hype man.
Yeah. Just wind him up and see if he does it.
I like it.
You never know. He might do the I forget what movie it's from, but it goes, "Release the Kraken." He might do that. Who knows? He's done that before. You never know. So, guys, there was a lot of crazy stuff going on this weekend in MMA, particularly in the UFC. After the whole, you know, debacle with Max Holloway having concussion symptoms, which to me screams just a really bad weight cut, or like an after effect from it. And, you know, unfortunately, Brian Ortega suffered having to not have a fight at all because he doesn't want to take an interim fight and he doesn't want anything but a title fight. So that fight got scrapped, which really, really to me was awful because I wanted to see it so bad.
I know.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, it was super unfortunate. And I mean, just from what I'm hearing even about Max Holloway, I know that there was a water pollution, is the most recent news that we've heard of what's going on with him. But I don't know, just the few people I've talked about it, they've mentioned stuff similar to you of it just sounds like maybe something else went wrong with the weight cut. There's more details. I'm a little concerned too with just how the MMA community responded. I don't know if you guys noticed, but like the collective amount of tweets and just responses to it, people seem really concerned for his health. And the fact that news is coming out of that Brian Ortega might fight for a vacant title now. I mean, I think there's more to this story. So that to me is what's the most concerning is, you know, yes, we lost that good fight, but are we even going to see it anytime soon is what I'm worried about. And of course, Max's health.
Peter, what do you think?
I don't know. We've got a group in here with some of the staff, and they're going on about your mic, Kerry. Lewis specifically said it looks like a special microphone.
A special one? It's just a microphone because my computer is so freaking old. It's borderline Jurassic. So I had to plug something in because the microphone on my computer is awful. And so sorry. We're stuck with the space microphone.
No, I think he's hinting at it. It looks like some kind of toy. I think that's
what no, it is not a toy. It's not one of those.
Focus. What did you say? This is not Pornhub. This is an MMA Late Show.
Right?
I told Lewis to get his comments on YouTube and have the balls to say it where we can read them. But
that is awesome.
I know. Yeah, actually, the Holloway fight, that's going to be a really, really good. It could have easily been the main event as well. That's how special that fight would have been. I actually think Ortega was going to take that. I like Max, and I think Max is no always that last weight cut and all that. Obviously, it was late notice and blah blah. I don't think he's been in the right mind frame. This water story, if that's true, I don't know. We're hearing he had stroke symptoms, and is it related to a weight cut? Is he getting too big for the featherweight? I don't know, but I'm hearing that we might not see him for quite a while. I know they're talking about trying to make a fight again. I think they'll probably make Ortega or Jeremy Stephens as an interim belt fight. I think that might be a possibility. If he beat, is Jeremy Stephens got Aldo? Is he? No.
He's supposed to face him. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to cut that fight, which will suck for Aldo, but I guess it really just depends on whether or not they're going to fight for an interim belt. Because like you said, Kerry, I don't think Brian Ortega wants anything but that.
Yeah, but as I'm saying, I'm not sure if we'll see Max. If he does come back, I hope he comes back and fully healthy. Will it be at featherweight? I don't know. But I don't think, depending on what the issue is. I think if it was something like water or a weight cut, we'd know by now. I think it could be something a bit more serious. I hope no. But hopefully we'll see him back very shortly, 110%. And hopefully he fights Ortega and we get the fight we want to see. But I've got a feeling there might be a few more twists to the story yet. But as long as he's healthy, there's no way we'd want him to fight when he's not healthy and take a punch and then drop dead in the ring. That's the last thing we need. But hopefully he'll be okay. But as I say, I was gutted when that fight was pulled as well. But it always seems to be with these big cards, there's always something at the last minute, isn't there? There's always something. It's usually a weight cutting issue as well, usually. So.
It's true. It's the international fight week curse that happens like almost every single one. A fight gets scrapped, a big one. But isn't this Max's third time that he wasn't able to fight? And the last time might have been due to what the doctors didn't deem him fit to fight, which another one screams it could be a bad weight cut. or your body just responding poorly to a weight cut, which is unfortunate, but it definitely happens. And yeah, nobody wants to see him fight unhealthy. And that definitely screams for concern without a question, Kayla and Peter. I definitely think it's, there's something to it. And honestly, if we don't see him fight at featherweight, I won't be upset, because he might be better off fighting at, 155. He might be better off, because that might be too much for him.
Yeah, if he fights again, at least we know he's healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he doesn't fight again, then that means there's something seriously going on. So I hope he takes all the time in the world. If he needs to take a year out, 2 years, whatever, just, you know what I mean, look after be healthy. That's all I want. Because he's a great guy, great fighter. I love the way you get a lot of fighters like Sage Northcutt come in. There's so much pressure on them to perform well. Max came in, and he's taking his time. And he's just fought his way up the real way, hasn't he? He's no taking shortcuts, called people out. He's fought a lot of fights in the UFC. I just hope that's not taking a toll on him and taking a toll on his body and maybe taking too much punishment. Who knows? So. Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, and I think, the conversation has already been going on that there is an issue with weight cuts, with maybe lack of divisions. There's those few gray areas where 165 or 190, some division could be added. So unfortunately, sometimes the bigger picture here of losing a big fight like the Brian Ortega and Max Holloway, maybe something dramatic like this has to happen for them to finally really sit down and make, some decisions on those, those conversations that have been being had.
Also, I think Max 100% against 100% Ortega. It's a really good fight. I think Max edges it, but if Max if he's not 100%, Ortega is an animal. He's a beast. He's a killer, and he could end up seriously hurt. So I think it was the right decision in the end.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, you got to do what's best for you. No fighter should get in there and do something when they're not 100%. I mean, even Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, a lot of fighters. They do fight with injuries and all that. They're not, as you say, a lot of them say they're never 100%. You still want to fight. So if you ask Max if he would have wanted to fight, he probably would have, even though he's not 100%. If you seen that interview before it and he's slurring his speech, and Bisping points out, like, what's going on here? I think Max, if it was up to Max, he probably would have fought anyway, which would have been a stupid decision. So
yeah,
I agree. Now with the new ESPN deal, aren't they putting in quite a few new weight classes? I know female atom weight would be added. And I know that they were talking about that. They were talking about doing quite a few different changes that I think would be great. Personal opinion. I mean, I think adding weight classes can't hurt anybody. There's too many fighters that are missing weight. And then some, you see a fighter get in there that they just don't look right. And maybe it's because, of the weight cut. And it's too much. You know what I also really liked? When Darren Till fought Stephen Thompson and they said, you can't come in here 10 pounds heavier than what you weighed in at. I like that rule, because you know what, at the end of the day, some of these people are going in there like 40, 30, 35, 40 pounds heavier. And that's just, I don't know. To me, like, go up a weight class if that's the case. It's not healthy and it's not right.
I think it depends on the fighter as well. And some people can cut a lot of weight easily and some struggle. Like Darren Till usually cuts weight, usually no bad, but obviously I know they're blaming a family circumstance on it, but who knows if that's true or not. But I don't know, just whatever the rule is, I think fighters will still try and seek that advantage to try and whatever they do. But I think they should have multiple weigh-ins in the lead up in the training camp as well. You have to hit certain weight before each camp. And so try and get fighters to fight as close to their walkabout weight as possible. I think that would help. But I don't think the UFC will go, not yet anyway. It might come in time, but what we don't want is somebody dropping dead or somebody getting seriously injured because of a bad weight cut and stuff like that and still being forced to fight. So
yeah, I mean, I hadn't heard that they had announced with the ESPN deal that they were looking to add more weight classes. But yeah, if you're going to broaden your audience or add more fight nights, why not add more classes into that? And it does seem like they're kind of moving in that direction, because they added that 145 and the flyweight division for women and kind of let it sit there for a little bit. But now they're signing more people, and they're having, I think, a tough season surrounded around the 145 division. So they just, you know, they got to start adding them and see where everyone's going to play out, because a lot of those ladies either moved down or moved up to 125, and they're doing well so far, fighting at a more natural weight class. So,
well, actually, James Hamilton, who works for us, I was going to credit him here because he says there's weight classes that the UFC can use already, but they don't. But people don't know that because they don't use them. So it's not like they have to get any rule changes. But he's already commented that I'm a poof, so I'm not going to credit him with the weight class thing, because he's always supporting these extra weight classes and things. But he's the first person to comment on the YouTube show and call me a poof. So
he called you a what?
A poof. Basically, a poof? Yeah, I'm gay.
Oh, I was going to say, what does that mean over by you? Because slang is so different over here. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I'm going to throw something back at him. What's wrong with being gay? If I was gay, then so be it. I'd be happy if I was gay. I don't care if it was bloke, women, animals, sheep, whatever. As long as I'm happy.
That's all that matters.
Your happiness is all that counts.
Yeah, see where I'm from and Lewis is from, there's a thing where we like to shag sheep. It's just a kind of thing because there's a lot of sheep in the countryside, so they call it sheep shaggers.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to hear that.
You don't get that in America, you know, like a region in America where they shag cows or bulls or I don't know. No.
I've heard about some crazy shows in Mexico that you can walk in and stumble upon, but
and what's that? What's that fucking place? Tijuana.
Yeah. That's probably the closest to me that I can go and witness that, but I don't know if I want to, Peter.
I was going to say, girl, I'd stay away from there. I've heard some awful things about Tijuana. Other people like it. I wouldn't be into it.
Yeah, we don't actually shag sheep. It's just a thing because there's lots of sheep. So we like to brag that we shag sheep, and they call us sheep shaggers. But it doesn't. Well, as far as I know, it doesn't actually go on. I've no shagged the sheep yet, anyway. But
okay, good. Yeah,
Facts.
actually talking about
But
Tijuana,
I'll send you the link that I had. Oh, what?
Oh, I was just going to say, I keep, you know, now that I'm closer in San Diego, I keep getting invitations to go down to Tijuana. They're really building some good MMA shows down there. So I'll let you guys know next time I check it out. But I know they're really building, because they say that the rules are slightly different, but that you get some intense fights and the crowds get into it.
Supposedly anything goes down there, so I can't imagine. I have a link I'll send you, and it's to all the stuff that the ESPN is actually going to do with the deal that they're going to do. Supposedly, the rumor was that they're going to do away with the Ultimate Fighter and just have the Contender Series.
I was talking to Jimmy G on his show tonight about that, and we're talking about how the WWE went from ESPN to Fox and vice versa, so they've kind of swapped. But the reason Fox didn't want it was because they were losing viewers of the fight night shows and stuff, and now the UFC are getting less money off ESPN. The deal itself, by looking at the fans and groups on Facebook, they don't seem to want the ESPN deal. They don't like ESPN for whatever reason. That must be an American thing. I don't know the politics behind that and all that, but it sounds like it's in a worse place. But you guys will probably know better than me.
I mean, ESPN doesn't bother me. I don't have any issues with it, where other people might. It could be the deal alone. It could be that some people might not get ESPN. It might be an extra package that you might have to get with a different cable provider. I don't know. That could very well be a problem for some people. Well,
I'm guessing it's going to be, is it no free to watch? Is it no the same as Fox?
Well, some of them will be, but then because they're also using this streaming service, which I think, you know, no matter it was ESPN or if Fox decided to kind of move in that direction, a lot of people now are watching so much stuff on their laptop or through apps like Netflix and Hulu and Roku. So I think it's probably those people that are so used to just watching at TVs or at pubs and bars that they're like, what's this app that I got to download on my phone to watch? So maybe that's where some of the, you know, backlashes come from. But
could be, could very well be. It's definitely, you know, it'll be good, I think, and hopefully, like we said, that they'll add more weight classes. Now, so that stunk, but like you said, some good things can come out of some bad things, and that always happens.
But see, the Ultimate Fighter, would you miss that if that was axed? Would you miss it? I don't think it's the
The
same.
Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, I don't think it's the same now. It used to be.
I don't feel like it's the same from a couple years ago. I don't think it's the same from when it first came out. I'm almost like, when is it going to be done? I like the Contender Series. I think that's pretty cool.
And looking for a fighter is quite good as well.
Yeah.
How many programs can they have? I mean, at the end of the day.
Yeah, especially when it's scouting out new talent like that, you know, maybe having something of a Contender Series or looking for a fight. You don't really need to get invested in a whole season around finding one person. You can just watch 1 or 2 episodes and find these new guys.
But I was saying to Jim earlier on, why not come to Europe and have like an Ultimate Fighter series in Europe, a couple of European coaches? Because there's a lot of politics over here and a lot of fights we'd like to see, but because of the different promotions, I think if the UFC came over, done a European show, and then one fighter got that and got a shot. Cause I think a lot of them now in America, they get these shots, but they're not ready for the UFC either. I just think they could go to Australia, because Jimmy said they've done that studio for the Ashes one, and they've no used it since. So that's a waste of money as well. And I think they could maybe continue the Ultimate Fighter, but on a smaller scale, and where nobody expects them to become. But Michael Bisping won it, and you look at the big fighters you had in the early series. They all came on and done well in the UFC. You know what I mean? But you see people win it now, and then they have a couple of fights, and then you never hear from them again. So I think they maybe should carry it on, but on a smaller scale, and come to other countries. China, do a Chinese one. Just for China, and I think they do it in Brazil anyway, don't they?
Yeah, yep, they have the Brazilian one.
But nobody expects them to be the next UFC champion, so maybe just put it on a smaller scale and still continue the show.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that there's so much hidden talent, and like you said, it's just because the opportunity of going in there and scouting it out on a large scale, like putting it on television, just hasn't happened or doesn't happen often. I like that idea.
Yeah, people watch that because they want to see them on the house and have the fallout, they argue, they nearly fight, and all that kind of stuff. The Contender Series, it's all about the best fighter and putting on an impressive performance. You've got one fight, you win it, you've got a great chance of being signed by Dana. So you put it all on the line. The Ultimate Fighter is kind of totally different. It's a different experience.
And you know what we miss, Peter? You know, back in the day, there was a lot more fights and drinking and partying and craziness on the Ultimate Fighter. Do you think people overseas might bring that trend back in between competition?
Yeah. I think if they've done a European one, they would definitely get that. There's a lot of politics in British MMA and the rest of Europe where they try to avoid each other because we've got all these different promotions and all that. It's very hard to get them all in the one place. But I think if the UFC goes, like, we're doing an Ultimate Fighter here, they'd all want to sign up. We've got a lot of them trying to raise money and go to America, but they can't raise the money to get the flights and go and do the trials. It could be a waste of money because they don't get picked. But I think if you've done one over in Europe, they would get a lot of additions, depending on what weight class they've done and all that. But I think they could do something big over here with that, and a lot of fighters want to sign up, and you get to see some very good, well-matched fights. There's a lot of... The best way to get in the UFC right now from the UK is to join Cage Warriors and become a Cage Warriors champion. You do that, you basically get signed. But I think the Ultimate Fighter would give us another route. So I think it'd be really good.
Absolutely, and it'll be a nice change up too. You know, I like I said, I feel like things get stale when they do it too much, and not that I have a problem with it, and I don't. I just think that too much is too much, and it's just how many seasons. I'm appreciative of the female featherweight division season. I think that's going to be really great because, you know, it is needed. Or they could have just plucked all the girls and put them in it. You know what I mean? It's just weird how they run that. And they could have just had a deep division.
Is it Robert Whittaker and Gastelum going to do a series now, isn't they?
I think so.
Are they the coaches of the featherweights?
Yeah, to me, that's going to be two boring guys coaching. There's not going to be no fallouts, no fighting. Well, you never know. I know Gastelum, he was on the Ultimate Fighter, wasn't he? On the run. Misha Tate. Yeah. It was Misha and Ronda, I think it was.
I think so. And that could be good too, you know, but I definitely am kind of shocked that it's not.
He knows how the shows work and he might play up for the cameras, but I think Robert Whittaker is quite a gentleman, you know. Well, he was on the Ashes one, but I think he'd be boring, but he's a nice guy and all that, but it's not what you want. You want people like Michael Bisping and all that coaching, and characters, people mess stuff up.
You want people like a Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, that boy, Brock DC. That's the one. Brock and DC, Ultimate Fighter. That would be brilliant. That would be the one.
The only problem is I could hardly see Brock Lesnar sticking around in the UFC that long to actually do it.
Well, I'm guessing, well, I spoke to this later on with Jimmy G. Brock, if you're going to give him a title shot, they're going to have to tie him down for more than one fight. You can't just have him win the belt and then he fucks off back to the WWE. Because that just leaves it in limbo. That would just embarrass the UFC. So they have to tie him down if he wins.
I should hope that they would. I really, really hope that they're going to do like an open contract where they can renegotiate if he wins. You know what I mean? Because that would be a little foolish for them not to, and for him to just.
But then again, GSP was meant to defend the belt if he beat Bisping, and then he gave it away. So that makes him look stupid, and that might affect GSP possibly getting a fight with Conor or whatever. Because they'll be like, well, fuck you. If you beat Conor or whatever, then you might not stick around. So,
yeah, that's the only issue I have with some of these super fights or just big names matching together is if it's pretty obvious that you're not going to stay at a champion if you win, then just have a super fight. Maybe don't fight for the title. You know, what's really going to make the difference? Of course, yeah, Brock would love to hold that belt again and say that he's champion for a little bit, but we could also just probably sell that fight just fine as a super fight.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But then again, is DC going to defend the lightweight before the heavyweight? It's plenty of time. Because Brock can't fight till January. And then I said to Jim earlier on, if DC defended it and say to Gus and got beat, that's going to take the shine off him fighting Brock Lesnar.
That's what I said too. I don't think he should. I don't think he should defend it.
If I was a UFC, DC ain't fighting. Maybe even give the belt up, but he ain't fighting until he fights Brock. Because I reckon that's going to be one of the biggest pay-per-views ever, depending on what Conor and Khabib do if they announce that. So that's going to be the two big ones they've got coming up. So,
I agree.
Absolutely.
We know the UFC are going to go with the money, so they'll say to DC, no, you're resting. We'll take that belt off you if we have to. Gus and whoever can fight for that. John Jones, if he comes back, whatever. Imagine he gives the belt up and John Jones fights for it. And then DC beats Brock, and then you got DC Jones, champion v champion.
Number 3, yeah.
I see a trilogy actually taking place. I really do see them doing a trilogy. I don't know why. Everybody's like, you're crazy. John Jones is never coming back. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. And stranger things have happened.
DC wants it. DC wants Jones one more time. He wants him. I thought he was winning that last fight until he got the head kick. He was winning it, in my opinion, anyway. He was doing very well. I thought he's going to do this. And then obviously the head kick. But
yeah, he should have fight him again. Absolutely. It would be kind of foolish of him not to, in my opinion.
And I would love it if he beat Jones as well.
Can you imagine that story of just his career, fighting and winning 2 titles, and then your last fight you finally beat your like arch nemesis? That's probably the best well-written story in MMA if that played out that way, you know?
It's like that meme we posted in one of our pages where John Jones goes, hey, Pussy, you still there? And it's DC with the 2 belts going, yeah. And then John Jones is crying. I thought that was quite funny. You know what I'm saying? Basically, where DC is right now, that should have been John Jones. John Jones should be the double champ, and he should be fighting Brock Lesnar. That's the way it should have been. But it's no, because John Jones is a cheating motherfucker.
John Jones gets it in his own way. He's his own worst enemy in every sense of that statement. He really, really, really is the only person standing in his own way. And it's a shame. It's really sad because he's so talented. And I don't know. I would really be excited to see that as a third for them. That'd be a pretty incredible fight. And I could see that happening. I could also see, DC beating Brock and then, taking on John Jones. But you know what's really funny, Kayla? I really like the point of you bringing up just having a super fight. In my opinion, and this was just something that I thought about, I might have thrown it out there like a couple months ago, but if you're going to do that and people are they want to fight for a belt, well, then do what they did with the Conor McGregor Mayweather fight and how they had the money belt. Make a super fight belt.
Yeah,
they make an interim belt. They make this belt. You know what I mean? Fucking just do a super fight belt, call it a day.
Yeah, you could do a catch weight between the 2 weights.
That's what I was going to say. You do it at catch weight. Nobody has to take each other's belts. Yeah. Everybody wins.
Do it that way, yeah. Because it's impossible to defend 2 belts. It's impossible.
Yeah, you can't, and that's why they stripped McGregor. They can't not strip DC. It's just it would be bad.
Yeah.
It would be a bad look on their part. Let's throw that out there.
Well, DC says he wants to retire soon. That'll probably depend on his next fight and if he wins or not. If he beats Brock Lesnar, he's going to want John Jones, and you never know. He might feel good and go, right, well, hang on, I want to take on the next. Look at the contenders and go, look, Ngannou, I could beat him. Or Gus, I reckon I could beat him. Whoever the contenders are at that moment in time. So he might go on. I don't think he's suffering for any injuries or nothing like that. I think he's quite fit, and not like Bisping where he's got a bad eye and his other eye's a bit dodgy. So he might Cormier might. He say he's going to make mega money off Brock. He'll make mega money off John Jones. I would love to see DC give up that belt and Jones win that belt, and then he beats Lesnar and have a champion be champion. That would be like a good story. That would be a big fight, big money as well for both of them. And I'd love it if DC beats Jones.
Yeah, there's definitely ways it could play out where this like, you know, they're talking about we need these fights that sell and break numbers and break records again. There's definitely ways that could happen just within these few names you guys are talking about. And I think that, you know, me, myself, I didn't think that DC was going to be able to finish Stipe in the first round like he did. So even, you know, putting this fight together against Brock, I think him winning the way that he did against Stipe, people are actually looking at it as a competitive fight too. You know, he was able to use the difference of size and skill, you know, with and I guess it's more of a wrestler versus wrestler, but it's just not as crazy of a thought now to have him versus Brock and him possibly win, you know.
Because of the size difference and all that, and obviously John Jones got the better wrestling than DC, even though DC's a wrestling champion, his pedigree and all that, Jones was able to take him down. I think Lesnar's going to take DC down with ease, so it'd be interesting to see if he can get back up or if he can grapple with him and get some and hit him. Because I think we know what Brock's going to do the same thing he done to Mark Hunt. Take him down and lay on top of him. Try and ground and pound him out. If not, he'll just lay on top of him. So it's going to be, to me, Lesnar wins that fight at the moment. But I'd love to see. I think everybody wants to see Lesnar get knocked out. I think everybody wants to see that again. Because as you say, I don't think Lesnar respects the UFC. I think he just got. As you say, he might pass all these tests for 6 months, but I think he'll probably piss hot when he gets tested after the fight, because he doesn't respect the sport. I think he just wants to kick DC's ass by any means necessary, and if that means cheating, he'll do it. He doesn't give a fuck. He'll still get paid. He didn't lose any money with Mark Hunt. I think if you piss hot, you should lose your money as well. I don't think you should have got paid for the Mark Hunt fight.
I commend Mark Hunt for, you know, causing the drama of actually wanting to take it to court and push it further, because it's not fair and it is dangerous. I mean, Brock Lesnar's a huge dude, and yeah, you're fighting him when he's all juiced up. Like, that's super dangerous. So DC says that he's willing to pay out of his own pocket to have him tested more often than USADA's going to be on his case. So that'll be interesting to see if that really happens. And I don't know how that works, like how he can legally make Brock test outside of USADA more often. I don't know if Brock has to agree to that or if the UFC is going to come to some deal. Who knows?
I think Tom's trying to get in, Kerry, but he's struggling. I don't know if you want to send him a link.
How to connect in. He should pop on the bottom, no?
I don't know. I know Frankie's trying to help him out, but I think he said Kerry might send another one. Kerry will try sending the link again.
I tried to. Hold on. Let me see, because I don't want to lose the. You know what? Hold on. I have an idea.
He's just waiting for his intro song.
Oh, link right here.
Dong. Smoke appears.
Smoke appears.
Remember they tried that with, what was it, Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez? Remember the Undertaker in the audience? Remember when Brock got beat and he walked by Undertaker, he was getting interviewed, and he said to Brock, "What's your problem?" They staged a thing if Brock won that Undertaker was going to challenge him for a fight at WrestleMania. You not remember that? And Brock walked by and ignored him because he just got his ass handed to him by Cain Velasquez. And just walked on by. So the Undertaker kind of looked stupid. He was in the front row of the UFC.
Yeah, we never found out what he was doing there, but everyone had an idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it was just weird. He's getting interviewed by I think it was Helwani, and then Brock walked by and he's like, "What the fuck are you looking at?" And Brock just ignored him. I think they had something staged if he'd won, but I don't think Brock was expecting to get beat like that.
Right.
Because Kane absolutely dominated him. Yeah.
Well, hopefully DC will take, you know, him and Kane are good friends, so maybe Kane will give him some advice for that super fight.
Well, it was a good thing because when DC got this fight, remember they were asking him, well, what would happen? Would you fight Kane? And kind of DC didn't say no. They've always said no in the past. That's why he stepped down the weight. But I don't think it'll happen because I think DC will have his Brock, maybe John Jones, and then probably retire, depending on what happens in this fight. I don't think they'll ever fight.
I love what he said in the post interview, how he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I finally retire because my wife goes nuts when I'm home too often after a fight. She says, get your ass in the gym. Like he's trying to wrestle and bother her. So he's going to have to figure out either maybe jump on for more analyst positions or something. There he is.
Tom!
Hey, I don't know if anybody can see me. I'm not sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see me?
Yeah.
Shit. All right. I can't see myself. So, yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. All right.
One of the rules, Tom, is when you first join the show, you need to sing your own entrance song. We done it earlier on.
That would be that would be "Eye in the Sky" by the Alan Parsons Project.
Well, you need to sing it. You need to sing it. You need to give yourself an intro.
I
put my money in you coming into the Undertaker music. I was just waiting for the gong and then the lights to go out and then the smoke.
Frankie, let me tell you, your accent
is
that's something.
Peter. That's Peter.
Peter, I'm sorry. Your accent is something super thick.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it though, mate. I love it.
Yeah, I'm talking very slowly so you understand me. This is my posh voice.
Yeah.
So Tom, tell us a little bit what's going on with UMMAF.
Well, wow. Yeah, no. So, anybody who knows, I was a part of the United States Muay Thai Association. Been a part of the organization for a number of years. Really built it, especially here on the Northeast. I had a unique opportunity to get involved with an international organization like UMMAF, Kick International, which at the parent company is IMMAF, which is the International Mixed Martial Arts Federation. Here locally, it's the United States Mixed Martial Arts Federation. And the Muay Thai kickboxing segment of it is Kick International. For me, I was looking for something that was, something that had a little more continuity, a little more structure, and that the professionalism was spot on. The national director there, Ryan Bergerman, rock solid guy. Had many conversations with Ryan over the last 2 years, especially with the with the approval in New York, which was the last state to get approval for mixed martial arts in the United States. Always stayed in contact with Ryan, always great conversations, always such a high level of professionalism. And I'm a big fan of policies, procedures, and, keeping things black and white. Ryan and I definitely on the same page with that. So I decided, that it was time to grow. I think that, you can build something as big as what it's going to be built. And, if the walls aren't going to allow you to expand, then it's an opportunity to expand. And for me, getting involved with, the United States Mixed Martial Arts Federation, Kick International, was a great opportunity for me to expand and grow as a regulator, really bring United States Mixed Martial Arts Federation back to the Northeast, because they were here once before, bring it back, give the local fighters an opportunity here in the Northeast to really get a flavor, because, in September, they're in Beijing, China, November, then Bahram, which is over near like the Dubai area. Gives an opportunity for the Northeast fighters to get that opportunity to represent the United States and go overseas, which is something that, you know, we weren't able to really achieve with the USMTA. So for those of you who don't know, effective immediately on Monday, I resigned from the United States Muay Thai Association, and I effectively became the Northeast Regional Director for UMAF Kick International.
Congratulations.
I think that's really great.
What's the long-term goals, Tom? What's the long-term goals?
You know what? The long-term goal has always been, no matter what, safety and regulation comes first. You know, we want to be able to bring tournaments across the country. We want to be able to, especially in the United States, bring fighters from all geographic areas in the United States, and, you know, have them crossfeed. I mean, usually fighters in New York just typically either fight in New York or New Jersey. You know, we want the opportunity that, you know, once some of these fighters, and I mean, Kerry knows probably better than anybody that's on this call, you know, we have some fighters that have like a 6-1, 7-1 record, and they've pretty much seen everybody that they're going to see. It's an opportunity for them to maybe travel down to South Carolina or maybe out to Arizona or California and compete there underneath the same rules, regulations as UMAF, and get the same recognition. And then at that point, have the opportunity to maybe go represent the United States in Beijing, China, or in the Middle East.
So can I just ask you a question? See, are you going to regulate over all the promotions, or is it just certain promotions? How do you get promotions to fall under your rulings?
Well, you know, I think the first thing that you have to do, I mean, anybody who has been involved with me regulating has always liked the way I regulated things, you know, and I think that a lot of those promotions are probably going to follow. You know, we'll see how that all works out. They know that, you know, the only thing that's changing is the branding on my chest, and more importantly, the level of you know, structure and continuity and professionalism that we'll get from the support staff that we have internally. Those are the only things that are going to change. Other than that, you know, a lot of the team is going to remain the same. Everything is going to remain the same. And so there are going to be a certain amount of promotions that will move over. And it's going to be a goal of mine to go out there and talk to other promotions and let them know that, you know, we're here, regulation, safety, and that, you know, we do it as good as anybody else. And, you know, if they feel that it's appropriate, they'll move over, and we'll start sanctioning their shows. And that is the goal.
No, that's good, because we've got something very similar over in Scotland. We've got a guy who started up a Scottish one, but not all the shows are on board yet. He's got his heart and is in the right place. Just try to get the shows to sign up.
You know, it's a lot of fighters will go to Vermont and they'll fight in Vermont. It's unregulated there. Connecticut, if you're not fighting on a reservation, it's almost like it's unregulated there as well. Massachusetts is ran by the Athletic Commission. So it really gives an opportunity for even some of those states that maybe want to have a level of regulation where it's mandatory blood work, that you have to show that you're Hep B, Hep C, and HIV negative within 6 months, and that you have a standardized physical within 12 months. That fighters are getting in there. The weights are going to be on point. All of the officials that work are ABC certified, or they've taken the Big Dan Ultimate MMA certification course. So they're very well versed, and they're going to get the very best.
I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you do very well and all that. But what about the costs involved in getting these tests? That costs a lot.
I'm getting a little bit of an echo, so I'm even getting some echo from myself. So I didn't understand the question. I apologize.
Just these fighters getting all the blood tests and stuff, and brain scans and whatever you want to bring in to make it safer. Will that cost a lot of money?
Oh, the costs.
Yeah, the cost.
Oh, the cost to sanction. I mean, the cost to sanction usually it could be anywhere from 1,800. It could be on up to whatever. It just depends on how many fights there are. You know, usually there's a sanctioning fee. The sanctioning fee is not all that much, but you're usually staffing a fight show with anywhere from 10 to 14 individuals. Most of the fee goes to paying the individuals for the night. And I think the most important thing I need for everybody to realize is, referees usually make anywhere between $150 to $225 a night. Judges typically make $100. Inspectors usually make $100. The overseeing rep usually makes, $200 to $250. It's pretty much all, it's all the fees that go to pay people for working the night. So, you're actually getting somebody that's making sure that everything is on the up and up. It gives your promotion a level of structure for safety and regulation, and it really does separate you from a lot of others. So,
I like this.
And especially
like cool. I like it.
But yeah, especially starting out, and you can tell the people that are passionate about it are the ones that stick with it and eventually become successful, because like you're saying, there's a lot of work that's being put into it. I'm starting to kind of work or learn about more of the business side over here in California with some of the amateur promotions, and to do things safely costs money. So, we want to commend people like you that want to still stick with this and grow the sport out there in the right way. And even if it means that you might not make some big profit in the beginning, or you just have to work really hard towards it.
Yeah, I think one of
the sport needs
local
like
promotions
you.
might lose money having to pay for these tests. I think fighter safety is paramount, but I know like in Scotland over here, a lot of the shows don't make a lot of money and they can't afford to do all these tests. Yeah,
I'll answer that in the words of a good friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, and a mentor of mine, Big Dan Marigliata. For those of you who don't know who he is, he does a lot of the big UFC, Bellator shows, Glory, Lions Fight. He'll tell you, but the first thing you do when you go into an ABC certification course or a Big Dan Ultimate MMA certification course is, if you're here to make a lot of money, you're here for the wrong reasons. You're here because you love this sport. You're here because you're passionate about keeping fighters safe. You're passionate about making sure that everybody's doing the right thing. And that's ultimately important. I mean, out in California, LFA, there's a lot of good promotions out in California, that I'm very well aware of. Ed Suarez, I know, was a big part of LFA out there. But, it's all about safety regulation. More importantly, amateur fighters, if the promoter's doing it right and they're putting it on in a good venue, they're treating the fighters correctly. At the end of the day, the fighters are going to bring fans, and fans will fill the place. And, it's not on the sanctioning body. The sanctioning body is there. They don't care whether there's 5 people in the stands or whether there's 50,000 people in the stands. They're going to regulate that show the same way regardless. And really at that point, it really is up to it really is up to the promotion to go ahead and successfully promote their show so that, they have a good showing, and maybe there is an opportunity for them to make some money. That's the name of the game. And you know what? I say this for the good promotions, they know how to go out there. Let me tell you, here in New York, there's a few promotions where, I can tell you that the matchmaking is not really all that great. I don't want to make judgment on anybody, but there's a lot of fight shows that, they go and they spend a lot of money on production. There's a fight show that's going on tomorrow night, out in, I think, Long Island. And some of the matches are not the greatest matches. They're first round finishes. But you know what? They spend the money on the production and everything else, and that's how they stay afloat. Good promoters, even if they're not great matchmakers, they learn how to stay afloat. And for those that don't, they say, goodbye peacefully in the night.
Yeah, I think a lot of shows, from local all the way up to UFC, have bad matchmaking. Like every show, you can pick out a bad matchup. That's kind of for the Charlie. They shouldn't even be in the cage together.
Yeah, I'm not hearing you very well.
He said about a lot of the shows have bad matchups, even like the UFC, and they do. You'll see terrible mismatched fights all the time.
No,
and some
that's
of it
absolutely.
I think comes with politics, and some of it might be politics, or you know, them trying to build up a guy with some hype or a girl with some hype behind them. I think that's what we've seen in the UFC.
You know what? I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. You have a lot of promoters that have never competed before a day in their life. They don't even train. There's some promoters that, I've overseen shows for, and listen, they do a great job at promoting and getting out there and spending the money where it needs to be spent. But, they work out at LA Fitness, they go to other gyms, they've never trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Muay Thai or wrestling or boxing or anything like that. So, do they really even know like what makes a good matchup? And I think that plays a very vital role in it. And, I've actually helped some promoters out in bringing some fighters from the metropolitan area up to their promotions. And I outright told them, I said, look, I'm just going to let you know right now, it's going to be a first round finish. And sometimes I get chuckles, and sure enough, they head up there and they're taking their title belts and heading, 150 miles south to the metro area in 30 seconds of the first round. I can't tell a promoter how to matchmake. I can just say, hey, if you're looking for a good 55er, here's a good 55er. But what they would consider a good 55er, maybe up in the capital region in New York or out in western region in New York, definitely isn't the same type of 155er that you're going to get in the metropolitan area. It's, different geographical areas, especially in the state of New York. When you talk about Westchester, the 5 boroughs in Long Island, you really are talking about the hotbed of MMA for the Northeast region, and including New Jersey. I got to include New Jersey in that mix as well.
Absolutely.
So since you're...
You go, Faye.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say, since you're, very involved and on the circuit there, are there a couple names you can throw out of these up-and-coming fighters that you're working with that we're going to see soon, that you just know are going to be stars in the sport?
You know what?
Without
Tom, you take it over, because I could definitely agree with you. I know quite a few. A lot have been on Tom's show. Aggressive Combat Championship. I don't know if we lost Tom.
I'll tell you this, September 22nd, just so you know, yes, I am a regulator. I am the Northeast Regional Director for UMAF, but I do run a promotion, Aggressive Combat Championships. We've been around for over 10 years, myself and my partner, Eugene Perez. At our shows, I am a promoter. I'm not a regulator. Ryan Bergerman is actually most likely going to be flying out September 22nd to be, one of the point men. But typically a senior official like a Big Dan Morigliata, Kevin Mulhall, John Paul Zanega, or Mike Walter, typically they'll be the individuals that will oversee the show, so that there's never any conflict of interest, at one of my shows. I'm a black and white guy. I've never hit the gray area. I never will hit the gray area. My integrity is absolutely everything. But in regards to fighters, September 22nd, all you have to do is just come to an Aggressive Combat Championship event, or even watch it live or see some of the videos. You have people, Jillian Lionheart DeCourcy came out of ACC. She's in Invicta. She's actually fighting this weekend.
She's an animal. Two of my friends are fighting.
Oh, no, that's the
I'm
worst.
having a really tough time hearing you guys. So if I talk over you, I apologize.
I hear you perfectly.
All right, beautiful. I can't hear you too well, though, but I'm on my phone. You guys are probably on tablets and laptops.
I'm on my visual, so probably a connection.
Yeah, so, you have Jillian DeCourcy. Lindsay Van Zant's another great female fighter that's an up-and-coming fighter who should do really, really well. At the amateur level, you got Cubby Waswala, really, really good fighter. You have the Medina twins. You have Brandon and Christian Medina, two really good fighters. You know, James Gonzalez, you know, he's fighting Ring of Combat right now. He's on the pro circuit. He's killing things. You know, other fighters, you know, the list can just absolutely go on and on and on. I mean, you got Edwin Soles out of the Jungle Gym. You know, you have Sina Acevedo out of the Jungle Gym. You know, you have guys out of Renzo Gracie, New York City, like Grant Cable. You know, another very formidable fighter. You know, I could probably go on and on and on with fighters. Milas Chavez out of Black Hole Jiu-Jitsu. He's another really good fighter. You know, you have Demetrius Plaza. He's another really good fighter. Andrew Geisler. There are a lot of really good up-and-coming fighters out of the amateur level that are definitely going to make some noise on the pro circuit. A lot of people, you know, that came out, like Paul Grant, and some others, you know, that went pro. Leo Muniz out of the Jungle Gym. He's another person that ripped it up on the pro level. And these are guys that are now just slowly building up. But, you know, Aggressive Combat Championships, I mean, years ago in our grappling tournaments and stuff, I mean, we had people like Frankie Edgar fight for us. You know, and, you know, the list is tremendous on how many people have actually fought for us throughout the years and have made quite the name for themselves.
Tom, what's your long-term plans for your promotion? Do you ever host an event outside America?
You know, the long-term plan for Aggressive Combat Championships, you know, when Eugene and I first started, we were doing events out of boxing gyms and stuff like that, and we were doing grappling tournaments. Both Eugene and I were executive directors at Grappler's Quest, which at one point was the pinnacle tournament in the United States, and actually we used to go across seas too. But we used to run some grappling tournaments, and little by little, you know, we moved up and we started doing them in big college gymnasiums. From big college gymnasiums, we started doing them in Flushing Meadow Park at Queens Theater. And where our current home is right now is the 6,000-seat arena at the Westchester County Center. So we're just going to continue to keep growing. We're bringing on, you know, some great you know, sponsors like Casa Noble Tequila, and, you know, some others. I know that trying to think, Boost Mobile jumped on. There's a lot of different companies that are jumping on. Anybody who knows me, I'm always moving. You know, I'm always doing something, whether it's, you know, being a regulator for UMAP, Kick International, you know, working with Fever Records, you know, of course, Aggressive Combat Championships, and I'm also an asset manager as well. So lots going on.
I don't know if you can see me, Tom, but I've designed a special T-shirt for you called "Fuck the
UK."
Yeah, I can't see. All I can see is a picture of my family, I guess, which is
we can see that. I designed these special camouflage T-shirts, and I've designed one for you tonight called "Fuck the UFC."
Oh my God!
You can maybe watch it back and later on. It's camouflage. You can't see it. The only thing you can see is the logo. That's how good it is. That's how
Can everybody see? Can everybody see my face? Because I can't see my face, so I don't know what kind of ugly faces I'm making.
No, we just see your beautiful family, Tom.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's a family portrait.
Yes, you guys are seeing my family.
Yeah.
That's what I see. I don't know how to get myself live.
It's probably
you were. Something happened.
Let me. What was that?
I said you were on here. Something happened.
Yeah. What the hell? Yeah. What did happen? Can you see me now?
Oh,
you're back.
Hey.
Back? I still can't see myself.
Hope you're back.
Can you see anything, Tom?
And I hear everything you're saying. So in regards to everything that's going on, things that I'm excited about that I want to talk about. Professional Fighters League. I don't know if you guys spoke about it before I got on. Good friend of mine, James Mormley. He's one of the talent executives there. You know, everybody always talks about UFC, Bellator. I think PFL is onto something. They have 10 weight classes. and they actually have a full season. And as they get towards October, they start having what's called the playoffs. And as you win, you go through this tournament. And at the end of the year, they have what would be considered like our Super Bowl, and each weight class is going to win $1 million. I don't even know. I don't know even 5 UFC fighters that are making $1 million a year.
Yeah, I've enjoyed, they've had 3 seasons, I believe now, but I didn't catch the last one. I just read up on it, and my mind, I was like blown by the crazy finishes. I think there was something dramatic that happened with maybe a stoppage, but either way, because of the format of how, you know, you can get more points depending on how you finish or what round you finish. We're really seeing, and probably the money incentive, of course, too. We're seeing these athletes that I think are just super appreciative of being a part of it, really give you exciting, you know, competition in there. I've really enjoyed their format. I think it's going to do well. And I actually know some fighters and coaches that are involved. And some of the coaches that I've spoke with, I mean, they're so excited to be on it, and their fighters are just like really putting in work in the gym because they want that $1 million. You know, they see how special it is.
Well, you know what? Somebody who's been to ACC fights and somebody who I know for a couple of years, Andre Harrison, Andre the Bull. You know, he's
the 19th.
Yeah, he's fighting next Thursday. I'll be there. I know Kerry will be there. You know, Andre is an undefeated professional fighter. I think Andre is 19-0. For the life of me, I have no clue.
Or 20-0 now, something like that. Crazy.
I have no clue how the UFC or Bellator did not cling on to this guy 10 fights ago. But, you know, thank God he's in the PFL, because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think there are many people that are going to beat Andre Harrison in his weight class this year. You might be looking at a millionaire. I might be friends with another millionaire.
I definitely think so. I think he's beyond talented. If you watched his last fight, no, he didn't get, you know, around first or second round finish or anything that he would have wanted to get the extra points. However, he dominated the shit out of that entire fight. He is so
and it almost doesn't matter, because as long as you keep winning, you keep on moving on, which is fantastic. Anybody who knows Andre's not a big talker. You know, he's a quiet assassin. And he's somebody that, you know what, he doesn't have to run his mouth to earn money in the UFC or Bellator. He could earn it by stepping into the cage and doing what he does best. That's what I love about the PFL.
Is there any way for Europeans to watch PFL? Is it streamed or?
Well, it's on NBC Sports Network. It's online, and it's also, I watched it the other night on TV on Verizon, and I will actually get you guys the channel and send it to you. But it's on TV and it's online.
Yeah, on Facebook, they've been streaming their prelims, so you can see the prelim fights there. But I mean, 2 points I want to make about the PFL too is just that here's people who have realized we can actually pay these fighters, you know, who have been fighting for so long, maybe for chump change and not really gotten fair treatment, fighter pay. They found a format where they're going to get paid, and it's benefiting everybody because they're fighting hard. They're giving the audience great performances. So it's just interesting, because I think when they first announced that they were going to have this platform, I saw a lot of media, I saw a lot of other promotions, people in the community kind of laughing it off, saying, well, someone's tried to do that before. But now we see that a lot of other promotions are bringing back these Grand Prix tournaments or super fights. I mean, I really think that the success of PFL is starting to trickle down, giving other people kind of inspiration or ideas of trying something similar.
And you know what? The PFL has a really good financial backing. So for a lot of people that say like, hey, it's going to fizzle to nothing, you know, this is sort of the honeymoon phase, the first year that they have things going. You know, they're testing the waters with doing Thursday nights instead of interfering with the other fight leagues on a Friday or a Saturday night. You know, I think it's a great platform. I think it'll do really well. You know, I think the people that are involved, Ray Sefo, really good guy. Of course, my buddy James Mormley, you know, he's a great talent evaluator, and he's going out getting talent. And I'm going to tell you, those midline UFC fighters, that are only getting paid, you know, $20,000 or $30,000 a fight. This is an opportunity for them to put the time and effort in and join a league like the PFL and have an opportunity to earn $1 million for the year. I think it's incredible for a lot of fighters who are just getting by right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can't help but to get upset when I hear the fighters have to have 2 and 3 jobs to be able to support their families or even have a life. And it really does upset me because you're talking about people that are on TV that are at the highest level that you can be. And you're talking about UFC fighters. And I mean, it's just really, really insane. I brought it up the other day when we had Heather Hardy on our first show. She was talking about she has 3 jobs to support her daughter, her family, and her career, which is really incredible. Being, you know, no, she's not the most famous MMA fighter, but she is endorsed by Adidas and some other companies that, like, I'm just shocked that she has to work that much.
Yeah, I think it's good that fighters can earn that kind of money, but then the other side of the coin, you got people like Conor McGregor who make too much money and end up no fighting at all.
I would say Conor McGregor is a straw in a haystack. You're not going to find many Conor McGregors out there. And if you're going to try to be that straw in a haystack, I mean, you have a huge uphill battle to go. This is what I tell people. I see amateur fighters all the time, you know, whether it be as a regulator or sometimes when they make their way through aggressive combat championships. And they say, oh, you know what, I'm going to go pro so that I can make money. You know, here's the funny thing is some of the regional pro fight cards, some of these guys are making $300 to win, $300 to make weight. That's $600. I know some amateur fighters that get $5 and $10 kickbacks that make more than that on the amateur level. And the sad thing is, on a pro level, you got to get matched up and you got to find a promoter that wants you to fight. It becomes that much more difficult when you become a pro. I know a few pro fighters right now that are 2-3 fights in, and they look at me and they're like, I was able to fight like 4 to 5 times a year as an amateur. I'm lucky if I could get 2 fights as a pro right now. And that, you know, I think that having a manager, I think that having a good coach, making solid, sound decisions, they're all very, very important.
See the PFL thing. So the winner gets $1 million. What does the runner-up get?
You know what? I don't know. That I'll wind up asking James Wormley that question on Thursday.
What I would like to see is rather than give the winner $1 million, they split it out a bit more evenly. So the runner-up and the semi-finalists, they all get a share, and it helps pay for their training and stuff like that.
I think they have to do something because I know that I think when I was at the last fight, they said they only have 6 weight classes, but I heard them say something about giving away $10 million. So if they only have 6 weight classes and they're giving away $10 million, $1 million per each fighter per weight class, and they definitely got to be doing something with the rest, whether it be fight bonuses or, you know, giving everybody else some money for fight.
Terry, you're such a scholar.
I'm a lady and a scholar.
Yes. So I want to thank Ryan Bergerman at who's the executive director of UMAF and Kick International for believing in me, bringing me on
right
board.
Now, Tom, no pressure.
What was that?
He's watching it now. No pressure.
You know what? Kerry knows me very well. I adapt to pressure very, very well. It's all about pressure to me. If I'm not feeling pressure, then something's wrong. So I'm excited that they have the faith in me to bring me on to help grow UMAF and Kick International in the Northeast. And I want to thank everybody at UMAF and Kick International for believing in me. I'm certainly not going to disappoint. I have a very talented group of people that I work with. A lot of people like to take individual credit. I'll never do that. I'm only as good as the people that I work with. And people like Jean Paul Zanega and Mike Walter and Eugene Perez and Lorenzo Kilkenny and the Medina twins and Andrea Danilla, Damiano, Neil. I mean, there's so many guys that work with us day in and day out that do. Eric Tillman, they just do a fantastic job and they make my life easy. But, you have to train these guys. And if you train them the right way, you know what, your job becomes easier. It's just like fighting, you train hard and you fight easy the same exact way. You train these guys hard and the day of the show just winds up running really easy. And That's what I expect. I expect that continuity. I expect, the structure is going to be so much better internally, and the level of professionalism already internally is tenfold from what I've experienced in the past. ACC 19, September 22nd at the Westchester County Center. Anybody in the Northeast region knows ACC. Eugene Perez puts on a fight card like nobody else. And, guys that are slated to fight on that card, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu decorated black belt Mike Wacker is slated to fight on that card. Miles is slated to defend his title. Isaiah Buma Sakiel is slated to defend his title. Andrew Geisler, I believe, is coming back to fight on that card. The Jungle Gym just gave us a whole host, and I'm sure Edwin Solis wants to defend his title again. Jamie Crowder over at Henzo Gracie, New York City, he always puts 2 or 3 exciting fighters on a card. So we're really excited. Kinex Level always puts some people on a card, and Submission Squad. Then you got Mantra MMA. I'm sure we're going to wind up seeing Alfonso back on a card again. So we're really excited, and we are most definitely going to have another girl. We're always noted for putting on some of the best female MMA fights, and we look for September 22nd to be no different.
Todd, thank you so much for joining us.
You guys
I
are
can't wait
awesome.
for September 22nd. Everybody that knows me knows I'll have tons of content, interviews, and all that business up.
Yeah, I'll definitely tune in. I'm pumped just hearing you talk about it and all these fighters. I'm definitely going to be researching them and looking them up.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do is you could go to YouTube and you could look up ACC MMA, and you could see some of the matchups and some of the fighters, and you could see that every fight is carefully selected. We make sure that the fights are entertaining. We make sure that they're well matched up. That there's no one-sided fights. Obviously, if you have a debut fighter, it's very difficult. You don't know the skill level of debut fighters, especially at the amateur level. Sometimes you take a look at somebody like Andrew Geisler had his debut with us, and I mean, he just dominated for the first minute of the fight, and we were just like, wow, this kid's got something. Erin Blanchfield, who has fought for us since she's 15 years old, she's another Invicta fighter. Be prepared to watch Erin Blanchfield. Mark my words. I'm going to say this. Erin Blanchfield will be, I believe she will be a UFC champion, and probably within the next 2 to 3 years. Mark my words. Erin Blanchfield. You heard it first right here.
If you want, we can get her on and interview her as well. We'll give her a push.
Absolutely. And with Erin Blanchfield, she went in on her debut fight. Everybody knew she was an Eddie Bravo Invitational champion, so everybody knew her jiu-jitsu skill was off the charts. She walked in. She fought a young lady, Destiny Quinones, who had 20 fights under her belt. Finished her within a minute.
Wow.
Which was a really good fight. If anybody's interested on getting on the ACC fight card, hit up Eugene Perez. He's the matchmaker. He makes it happen. So just look up Eugene Perez on social media. He'll be more than happy to match it up. If you're interested in getting your show sanctioned here on the Northeast, hit me up, tomk@ummaf.org. Email me, and I'll be more than happy to send you all the information. Right now, we are in the middle of getting approved here in the state of New York. We have our insurance bonds that are being put up right now. And Ryan Bergerman just told me that either today or tomorrow, the New York State Athletic Commission will get all our rules, regulations, and our official application. And we don't really feel that there should be any type of roadblocks that get us approved here in the state of New York. And we can give New York some great regulation. And we're not saying that we're the best sanctioning body in the Northeast, but you know what? You know what? I'll let you say that. I take what I do very seriously, and I try to give everybody the very best of what we have. There are other decent sanctioning bodies out there that try really hard. So, I'm not knocking anybody. Everybody makes mistakes. It's what you do with the mistakes and you learn from them. And I try not to make the same mistakes twice.
Facts. I definitely agree with that. It's all about learning from your mistakes and growing. What did I tell you on the phone? That, you know, what would be the next step besides something like this? You know what I mean? You've done so much, and you've pretty much, you know, done it all. You've covered all the shows you have. You know what besides going to an organization like that and taking the next leap would make sense? Nothing. So.
Absolutely. I want to, you know, before I get off the line, I want to thank Carrie Stella, who's, you know, she's a ride or die. She's always there. She's always covering, whether it be a Warriors Cup, which is huge. Warriors Cup in Triumph Combat in New York is the epitome of Muay Thai. Saturday night, Warriors Cup is at Queen's Theater. An amazing Muay Thai fight card. We're waiting for Triumph Combat to put on their next Muay Thai card, which will be another phenomenal event. You got ACC on the 22nd. You know, up in the Batavia, New York area, October 13th, Ground Force has a huge event going on. So there's lots of really great things that are happening, but Carrie's always there. She's always covering. I got to thank MMA UK for covering us here in the States. We really appreciate it. And I really, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you so much.
Actually, Tom, we're kind of worldwide. We've got several pages that cover America and other countries as well. So it's not just the UK. It's quite deceiving, the name, that we try and push anybody, and we'll continue to push you as much as we can.
Awesome. And I thank you guys so much. Do you guys have any more questions for me? I'm happy to answer, or you can just... You can go back to talking about the UFC. Not that it's a bad thing. Listen, I like the UFC. I just, if you want my opinion, I didn't, you know, like Eugene Perez said, you know, once before, you know, the UFC, the marketing was based around the WWE. Bellator is now starting to go down that road as well. And, you know, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of the way, like, the PFL is doing things and the way Bellator used to do things. But, you know, that's an opinion, and everyone's entitled to one. And, you know, my opinion isn't always the, you know, the most liked opinion. So
we don't all love the UFC either. They've got good things, they've got bad things. So they try and control everything. They try and control the media. They try to control us. Like, for example, if you want credentials with the UFC, you need to ask them for permission to interview a UFC fighter, and they have to listen in on the interview to make sure nothing's said that will disrespect the UFC. We don't go that way, so we say, fuck the UFC. We will report on their events, we'll cover their events and shows, because a lot of people will watch the UFC. That's fair enough. But when it comes to credentials, they don't like to give us any, because we don't.
But here's what I'm going to tell you. The PFL, they're super easy to work with. And, you know, they encourage media to be there. They know that it's important to get out there. And, you know, I would say hit them up. I mean, Ray Sefro is a great guy. James Mormley, another really good guy. You know, hit these guys up. You know, they're about growing that league and making it a prominent league, you know, in the world. And hit them up. You know, I'm sure Kerry didn't have an issue getting credentials.
No, I have the press link and everything. Yeah, they're really good.
I know my buddy Eric didn't have an issue getting him or Kyle, you know, any type of credentials for the Coliseum. So, you know, hit these guys up. You know, they're good guys, and I think they're doing good things for professional mixed martial arts.
Awesome. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about, or are we wrapping that up?
Sounds good to me. It's been a good night.
Yeah. Kayla?
Yeah, I think it's been a good show. We covered a lot, some topics from last week. Covered, you know, ACC's next show coming up, PFL. So it's
Kayla,
been good. This was fun.
Kayla, how was Bellator last week? How was Bellator? How did you get on?
Yeah, Bellator was great. You know, that card was really, there was just some unique stories. A lot of the women were representing their country, Hawaii, Colombia, Valerie Letourneau from Canada, and a lot of those fights played out to where I think we're going to see some matchups for some fights outside of the U.S. come to play. But it was good. I don't know if you guys caught the whole card, but there was some nice performances.
Bellator is always good. It's always got some great fights on it. I enjoy their shows. I mean, I enjoyed it a little bit more you know, maybe a year or two ago. But you know what? Everybody's evolving. And like you said, with the super fights and all the stuff that, you know, like we said, everybody's evolving now. They have the Grand Prix, the heavyweight Grand Prix. And I know they were talking about another one. I just can't remember.
The welterweight. The welterweight Grand Prix is what they're going to add. And on July 17th, so in 5 days, they're supposed to announce a lot of information on that and the rest of the dates with the heavyweight Grand Prix too.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's there, and their press conferences are great. But yeah, I wanted to thank you guys for hanging out on this beautiful Thursday. And Peter, who's up at the, you know, it's very late for him over there in Glasgow with his UFC shirt. And I wanted to thank Tom for coming on and hanging out with us and talking about the UMMAF and all that stuff. And Kayla, sorry for tuning in from California. I went to go say Cali. Yeah, thank you guys.
I just want to apologize to anybody for showing my nipples.
Oh, stop.
Nip slip.
Wardrobe malfunction.
All right, guys. Everyone have an awesome day, man. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
See you later.